SportsGrid live from the FanDuel Sportsbook set out here in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay. It's Pro Football Today. It's Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, Donnie Rightside, and Mike Blewitt with you on this Friday morning. And this is our last, run it back.
That's the way you do it. Love it.
End of the week.
It is our last chance out here in Vegas to talk through some of these key head-to-heads. And look, in the same way that Purdy isn't going to be defending Mahomes, and Isaiah Pacheco is not going to have to try and fill the B gap to tackle Christian McCaffrey, though I wouldn't mind seeing Pacheco take a swing at it. Mike, I know that you feel Pacheco has the chance to have a real standout game here against the Niners.
Yeah, if for no other reason that the Chiefs have shown that they have become far more concentrated with their offense, right? This is a Kelsey, Pacheco, Rashee Rice offense right now. And Pacheco touching the ball 28 times against the Ravens was just yet another game where they overloaded him with a number of touches so that he could be successful. It's why, as we go throughout the morning, you'll see I have a lot of Pacheco bets that I think could work out, Donnie.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the running back position in this game because I do believe, again, outside the quarterbacks, which is always the most important thing, running backs guys are going to win this football game for me. It's easy to sit here and say Christian McCaffrey's going to have a great game. Why? Every week he has a great game, it really feels like here. Hovering around that 90.5-yard prop here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. But I think if you say to me, the key to the football game overall, it's probably Isaiah Pacheco. How he goes, the Chiefs go. Well, Donnie, how could that be? You got Travis Kelce. You also have a great quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. But hear me out on this. If you're able to establish the running game, which means 4.5 to 5 yards per carry, keep yourself in front of the sticks, that's going to be a big shot here for Kansas City. And, Joe, I'm going to throw it to you on this because I would like your opinion as well. If Isaiah Pacheco doesn't run well in this game, I don't mean usage rate, I mean like 3 yards per carry, I don't see a pathway to victory for the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, great point. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that you can make the argument, guys, that Isaiah Pacheco is more important than Christian McCaffrey in terms of this ballgame because of how the Chiefs won in terms of lower scoring games. They did score 51 in the win against Buffalo, but again, they want this game in the 20s. We all talk about that's the MO for Spagnuolo and that defense. Keep them in the fourth quarter, grind it out, give Patrick Mahomes an opportunity in terms of manageable third down situations. If McCaffrey doesn't go in this ballgame, and let's just say he gets shut down for 50 yards, he can still catch the football out of the backfield. There's still George Kittle there, Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, and you could use Deebo Samuel as it relates to the rushing attack on fly sweeps. He's a spark plug type of player. Isaiah Pacheco doesn't rush potentially for 89, 90 yards in this ballgame. I think Kansas City is going to be up against it. And to Donnie's point, Kev, we talk about usage rate. 24 carries in 2 of the 3 playoff games. The other game, it was 16. His number is in the area, 15.5, 16. He needs to hit that number, which if he doesn't, means Pat Mahomes and that offense is trailing potentially all second half.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting thing with Pacheco, though, where he basically just, like everybody on this team, falls in line with the MO of Kansas City. Great start to the game. He's running hilariously and effectively. Then for a big chunk of it, does a whole bunch of nothing. And then it's like, hey, could you ice out this last drive for us? Yeah, no problem. 6 yards per carry all of a sudden on a 1st and 10 where they need to try and run up and get a stop here. I don't disagree that if you show me the Pacheco final score, at minimum you'll know whether or not, final stat line, whether Casey hung around. But if I did swap Pacheco out for Hilaire, it's a drop-off, but this is where now all of a sudden I'm defending McCaffrey. CMC's two-way ability is what separates him from every other running back in this league, as well as his ability to consistently find the end zone. There's sometimes I watch him, and I think to myself, man, every running back could score like this if they play for the... Every running back has played for the Niners, and they don't score like this. Now, there's been a lot of running backs that have had success there before, right? Raheem Mostert, of course, comes to mind, but McCaffrey has taken it to another level. One Offensive Player of the Year last night with the NFL awards that were given out, Mike. So for McCaffrey, there isn't, and that's why he so consistently stands out, there is not a game script where he doesn't remain massively important to what the Niners do.
I totally agree. And you make a great point about how he's able to do that from a multiple standpoint and catching passes. Anytime you look at the Christian McCaffrey stat lines, you're looking to see what the total yardage is. You're not focused specifically on his rushing yards. With Pacheco, you're talking about stat line, whether he hung around, but if Pacheco sees 20-plus carries, that's a really positive sign for the Chiefs. McCaffrey, he's getting 20 touches no matter what the success rate is for him and the Niners. Donnie.
Exactly, and the success rate for the Niners, you say to yourself, if they find themselves down 2 touchdowns, he's still going to get his. Maybe not from so much a carry perspective, but certainly in the passing game. That's the worry for Isaiah Pacheco. If you're looking for an anytime touchdown market, if you're looking for an over carries market, or even just his yards, which are hovering in the high 60s right now at the FanDuel Sportsbook, that's what you have to gauge. Because if the game script and the game flow is, you think Kansas City's going to win this game, guys, you're probably going to really like Isaiah Pacheco's stats here. But if you can tell me right now the halftime score is a double-digit lead for San Francisco, that's going to spell signs of doom for Isaiah Pacheco. But also, at the end of the football games, you talk about like salting games away. How many times have we seen him at the end? Run right up the middle, it looks like a 2-yard gain, and that entire pile moves another 2.5 to 3 yards here. That's the type of access he can provide in getting first downs late in the game. I like Isaiah Pacheco. I do. I just don't know if that success is going to be there in this football game enough for the Chiefs to carry that offense.
You know, again, I think for Pacheco, one reason I'm not on him is, I mean, we talked about yesterday, I have the Niners winning by $1 billion, right? Yeah. So that would just not make a ton of sense ultimately in this game. Where are you looking to bet McCaffrey in this matchup against KC?
I'm looking for McCaffrey, guys, in the receiving game because I think his explosiveness and mismatch in terms of a linebacker or a nickelback could be very critical to Brock Purdy's progression in this ballgame, especially if they utilize McCaffrey out on the flank early, different types of schemes and formations. I don't think they're going to line up and run Christian McCaffrey right into that front seven. Front seven has been very good for Kansas City, only giving up 108 rushing yards per game. And again, they've been very good in terms of third down defense, one of the top 15 in terms of the league. So that's how they've been winning ball games in regards to that. I will say to Donnie's point in how we maybe should just challenge and attack Pacheco. If you want to bet Pacheco, and let's say you don't like the big 69.5 point number, maybe you attack it in terms of first half carries. And the reason why I say that as well is because look at the success that Detroit and Green Bay have had on the ground with Montgomery and Gibbs and then Aaron Jones over the last couple of games. Kansas City, I believe, will look to attack that, whereas at San Francisco, I think will utilize McCaffrey in the passing game.
Am I the only one who's crazy enough to say that Aaron Jones didn't play that well in that game?
He didn't play well.
Run.
He didn't play that well, but the first couple of drives, they were running the football on that front seven.
Yes.
And I expect Kansas City to do the same thing, to at least test it early because of the lack of explosive plays that they have had.
But this is where, again, this is why I can't sometimes believe people are picking this team. I'm serious. They should run Pacheco early. They should run Pacheco late. Nobody believes in this pass game. No matter how many times people will close out a breakdown on Kansas City with, well, I have Pat Mahomes. The breakdowns always seem to funnel through, well, I think this defense will hold the Niners in check. And
yeah,
Pacheco
but anybody that watched the Bills game knows that he ran a quick strike offense. They had the ball for 23 minutes. They scored 27 points, and he was really effective. He only threw the ball 23 times. Mm-hmm. He was very efficient. And it's just Rice and Kelsey, a little bit of Pacheco, although he's not effective in the receiving game. And I'm with you. I think that's the way to attack McCaffrey. But I think it's a little bit too much, and it's getting compared to the Niners offense, which is so multiple and so diverse that it ends up making Kansas City's offense look less than it is.
But I think it's probably, Mike, because it is so much less than what we have come to expect from it.
Yeah, they're a victim of their own success.
And also, again, look, you get credit for playing who you playing, but I still just how injured Buffalo was in that game.
Of course.
The way that played out wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't the most stunning
thing. They had
the
the ball for 23 minutes, though. You have to give them credit for being that efficient.
Well over 9 yards per passing time. No doubt about it. He was absolutely excellent. Coming up next, though, we're going to get into these pass catchers here and who will be the key guys. Kelsey and Kittle, of course, are going to get their looks. Debo, Ayuk, Rashee Rice, and who else for Kansas City? We'll look to answer that question here on Pro Football Today.